All right, so we've gone over dietary fat and protein. We're going to go over carbohydrates and fiber. So, what are carbohydrates? Carbs are also a macronutrient, so they're going to provide energy. They're going to provide 4 calories per gram, and they are our primary and preferred energy source, especially during exercise. So, carbohydrates fuel the brain, they fuel the muscles, and they're needed for recovery. So there are two types of carbohydrates, simple and complex carbohydrates. Simple carbs are going to be quick digesting and fast energy, so they're going to be higher on the glycemic index. They're going to raise blood sugar a little bit quicker. Complex carbs are going to be slower digesting, and they're going to provide a little more steady energy. So we can get really good performance when you use a combination of them at the right times, at the right dose. So carbs fuel performance. So carbs are stored as glycogen in the liver and in the muscle. So we run off of the glucose in our blood, in the glucose, the glycogen in our liver, and then in the glycogen off in our muscle, right? So that's where we're storing energy. When we have low glycogen, we're going to feel fatigued, we're going to have poor recovery, you're going to have reduced performance, even sleep is going to reduce. In a dieting state or a contest prep, you're going to be glycogen depleted, and that's just kind of the reality of it. But using carbs at the right time and the right dose can fuel performance even in that state. Okay, so dietary fiber. Dietary fiber is a carbohydrate that is not digestible. There's two types. There's going to be soluble and insoluble fiber. The insoluble fiber is actually going to provide 2 calories per gram, and insoluble is completely indigestible and is going to provide basically 0 calories per gram. If it doesn't provide calories, well, then why do we need it? Well, it provides bulk to the stool, it can stabilize our blood sugar, and insoluble fiber does a lot for our gut health. So we want a nice balance of fiber. So we're going to aim for about 14 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories, with an approximately like a 1-to-2 ratio between soluble to insoluble. This is going to vary person to person, and we're basically just going to find the fiber ratio that works for you and try to stay pretty close to that. So soluble fiber. Soluble fiber is going to dissolve in water, it's going to form a gel, and it's going to provide food for the good bacteria in our gut. It's a prebiotic. So I'm sure you've heard of a probiotic supplement. What that's trying to do is repopulate the gut, or actually just add the good bacteria in the gut. If we provide prebiotics or soluble fiber, the good bacteria in our gut will have food to populate, and that's a better route because we're actually going to populate the specific bacteria strains that we need versus just adding a third party in. It's also going to slow digestion a little bit and give us a little bit better blood sugar response to the food. So when we have a little bit of soluble fiber in there and we consume other carbohydrates with that, that's going to blunt that blood sugar response and give us a little bit more sustained energy. It's going to be 2 calories per gram. And some food sources here, we're looking at like oats, beans, lentils, apples, bears, citrus fruits, chia seeds, flax seeds. That's not all inclusive, but those are some pretty good examples. Insoluble fiber. So insoluble fiber does not dissolve in water and it doesn't provide any calories. But it should be about 2/3 of your fiber that you're going to get for the day. It really prevents constipation. It can speed up speed up your digestion a little bit. Well, speed up your poop. We'll just be blunt, because it adds bulk to the stool. So it does slow the blood sugar response, but it's going to speed up digestion in that way. Some food sources are like your whole grains, your nuts, seeds, veggies. skins of the fruits, and the skins of potatoes. They're going to be really high in insoluble fiber. Also, like a lot of those like fiber wraps that you can get like the tortillas that are low calorie, high fiber. Most of that's going to come from insoluble fiber. Okay, so where in our day do we want to have our carbohydrates? How can we leverage carbohydrates to get the most out of them? Okay, carbs are the primary fuel source for training and recovery. So timing them properly is going to maximize performance and recovery and body composition. Okay, what does that mean? That means we want to put most of the carbohydrates around our training time. Okay, so pre-workout, post-workout. We want to have fewer carbs in our meals away from training to allow us to have most of our carbs near that training window. Okay, the further away from training, the more fibrous, the more complex carbs we're going to want to be. If we're pre-workout, we're going to use more simple carbohydrates. We want that simple, quick, available energy. Post-workout or intra-workout, you're also looking for some simple carbohydrates. Intra-workout, you're looking for like as simple as possible. Something like cyclic dextrin, dextrose, fruit juice. There is things out there like carbolene, hexogen. There's a few carb powders that are excellent for this. And post-workout, we're looking for some fast digesting carbs, something to replenish glycogen stores relatively quickly. And then later in the day, we can have our complex, more fibrous type meals. Okay, do you need meal or carbohydrates in every meal? Absolutely not. Especially when we start dieting, you're going to find carbohydrates are going to be the ones that are going to go change the most. So in your off season or in like a maintenance phase, carbohydrates are going to get pretty high. In the dieting or in a contest prep scenario, calories are going to drop, and most of those calories are going to drop from carbohydrates. So in that case, we're really going to want to put the carbohydrates around our training time to get the best performance, to feel the best. All right, so all in all, carbohydrates, carbs, we need them. They're the main fuel for training and recovery. All carbohydrates are going to be 4 calories per gram with the exception of fiber. It's going to be 0 calories per gram for insoluble, 2 calories per gram for soluble fiber. Use simple carbs for quick energy and complex carbs for steady fuel. So around training times, we're going to be putting those simple carbs, and we're going to use our complex carbs kind of away from the meals. Fiber is really good thing for digestion. It's a great thing for satiety. It'll keep you feeling full. And health as a whole. It's a prebiotic, provides food for the good bacteria in our gut. And we want a nice balance between soluble and insoluble, preferably around 1/3 soluble to 2/3 insoluble. And choose carb sources based on performance and health needs, not just like always what sounds the best. So eventually, after time, you will naturally lean towards the foods that make you feel the way you want to feel around the time that you want